A very good morning to ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our forum. First of all, I would like to thank all of the audience. Thank you so much for attending the forum of today. I'm Karthini Kongfung Meng, will be the first moderator, and the second moderator would be Miss Evinia Blessina for this wonderful forum. Today, we are here to discuss the issue about internet and social media in Malaysia legal analysis. Before entering our forum, I would like to introduce our wonderful panel. Our first panel would be Miss Kamala Priya. Second panel is Miss Anna Ruth. Then lastly but not the least is Miss Dia Nazmin Zulaika binti Muhammad Nazri. Let's get into our forum. Internet and social media is playing a big role in all over the world. Malaysia also is one of the highest media circulation. As we can see, back in 1970s, the Malaysian press system was reprimanded by the leaders of country to ensure the government policies were uncritical during broadcasting. The mass media needs to promote positivism where sensitive issues and negative societal characteristics are avoided. According to Article 10 of Federal Constitution highlights the right of free speech, helps the government to impose restrictions which is deemed necessary for the interests of the security of federation along other countries, public order or morality. Along with that, the parliament might pass laws which provides questions of any stipulated matter, rights, status, position privilege, or sovereignty. The Malaysian government is stringent to control the press freedom to preserve political stability, economic development, and social harmony. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our first panel, Ms. Kamala Priya, to deliver the presentation. Hello, Ms. Kamala Priya.
Hi, Miss Kartini.
Hello. So, what
Hi.
is your opinion in media control and regulations in Malaysia?
So basically, in my opinion, Malaysia has implemented many media laws, such as the Printing Press Act 1984 and the Broadcasting Act 1987, where there are any disrespectful comments against the government will not be published. So, special laws such as the Internal Security Act and the Official Secrets Act has enabled the authorities to detain the accused without trial for disrupting the country's harmony. There are four media laws that emphasizes the freedom of speech and press, such as Printing Presses and Publications Act (PPPA), Film Censorship Act, Broadcasting Act, and Communication and Multimedia Act (CMA). So, for the Printing Presses and Publications Act 1984, it imposes printing license and publishing that has to be approved by the Home Affairs Minister. Every publisher have to apply a publishing license before starting a newspaper or magazine that has to be renewed every year. Foreign publications have to pay a large deposit which can be retained if the publication is against the national interest. Newspapers from the opposition parties such as Haraka, owned by Pan Malaysian Islamic Party PAS, Suara, owned by the People's Party, and the Rocket, owned by the Democratic Action Party DAP. For an example, Haraka newspaper was published by PAS was only allowed to be sold to the party members. The second one will be the Film Censorship Act 2002 that was revised for all the films screened in Malaysia, which needs to be certified by the Film Censorship Board. There are three categories of films, such as U, which is for general viewing, PG-13, which requires parental guidance for audiences under 13, and 18 can be watched by audiences aged 18 and above. The Film Censorship Board will censor movies with three sensitive issues, such as religious, cultural, and moral values. For those who contravene with sensitive issues will be charged under Section 5 Sub 1 of the Film Censorship Act 2002 that states no person shall have or cause himself to have in his possession, custody, control or ownership or circulate, exhibit, distribute, display, manufacture, produce, sell, or hire any film or film publicity material which is obscene or against public decency. The second last will be the Broadcasting Act 1984 that was enacted for the privatization of the broadcasting media initiated by Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. TV3 was the first private Malaysian television channel as the government's medium to control the emerging private broadcasting channels. This act allows the Information Ministry to control and monitor all radios and television channels and to suspend or cancel the permit of any private company that broadcasts information which contradicts the government policies under Section 2 Sub 3 Sub 2. Last but not least will be the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998 that is under the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission MCMC, which has the roles of promoting and regulating the communications and multimedia industry to enforce the communications and multimedia law in Malaysia. The Act has the authority to approve, amend, or revoke broadcasting and other licenses. The MCMC is also assigned to implement and promote the government's national policies objectives for the communications and multimedia sector.
Thank you for the great opinion, Ms. Kamalapriya.
Thank you.
As our panel said, we can see that the media, especially electronic one, impacts governance, society, and the course of events. An objective and a balanced media coverage of very important issues relating to human development, socio-economic development, governance, and democracy would make an important contribution in protection and enlarging public interest. An excessive zeal to praise or blame cannot be the basis of good reporting. Okay, let's get to know more about social media theories and research in Malaysia. So let's invite Ms. Dia Nazmi Zulaika binti Muhammad Nazri to give a clear explanation.
Okay, hi. So first, I will start with the theories of social media. Social media is the global system of interconnected computer networks that is used worldwide to serve billions of people. So people are turning to social media for their business communication, personal communication, as well as gain information. People utilize the social media for business marketing, in promoting brands and products, as well as in maintaining brand relationship and interaction with the customers. Moreover, people also use social media to interact with families and friends, as well as in creating new relationships with others. In other words, social media has become a daily communication medium of our life. In fact, social media is categorized into 6 segments, such as collaborative project, which is example Wikipedia. Next, blog and micro blogging, content communities such as YouTube, social networking sites, virtual game world, and virtual social world. So, what is the significant discussion regarding this research is I can tell that one of the most significant discussions social media research is regarding the social networking sites, which is SNS. SNS, as said just now, it is one over 6 segments of social media. So, the introduction of SNS, such as MySpace, Facebook, and Twitter, have attracted many people and has increased the numbers of users all over. So it makes these sites, which is SNS, as part of the daily communication. So if you ask me about how engaging is the SNS in our country, um, in Malaysia, the development of social media have also taken over the Malaysian online population with the intervention of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, blog, and more. So, since the emergence of the social media such as SNS in Malaysia, these websites have garnered millions of users using it as their daily practice in life. So, according to the Malaysian Communication Multimedia Commission, Facebook is the leading SNS in Malaysia with 84.2% users, followed by Twitter, which is 14.3%. So, Malaysia are also reported to have the most number of users in Asia. Um, Users of Facebook in Asia, which is 5 million users. Thank you.
Thank you for the clear explanation, Ms. Dia. It's great to hear the extract of theories and research from you. Moving to moderator 2.
Well, thank you, Ms. Kartini, on your explanation and elaboration that you made just now. It's very informative and useful for our younger generation in the future. And through this, the people in Malaysia have exposure about the media and internet used in Malaysia. We all could see there is a lot of procedures that need to be followed and obeyed, posting and uploading something on social media and mass media. Next, I would like to ask my opinion to Ms. Anna Ruth about the development of internet and social media that were made in Malaysia. I would like you to tell your point of view in this issue, Ms. Anna.
Okay, my point is development of internet and social media is government statistics compiled by Malaysian Communication and Commission in 2014 indicated the high, which places the nation's capital, which is Kuala Lumpur at 71%. This is followed by developed state in Malaysia that is flanked on 71%, and at the administrative capital Putrajaya also 89%. Okay, almost 90% of Malaysian internet users have registered social media accounts. Malaysians are considered as sociable online as they have among highest average 233 friends, which is about 80% higher than global average. It was also found that Malaysians prefer to spend more time online rather than watching television or listening to the radio. Due to the increased popularity of social media in Malaysia, it is identified that one-third of country's internet traffic will be accessed to social sites. Okay, moving on next. Although the government has initially claimed to not censor the internet, it has openly and blatantly controlled the internet content when it comes to protecting their image. Any forms of content that are derogatory to the government are always through indirect laws, such as the Official Secrets Act and the Sedition Act. Punishment can include fines and several years in prison. Further amendments were made in 2015, enabling the authorities to block and reprimand online content, reducing the penalty from 3 to 7 years in prison. The Evidence Act 1950 was amended in 2012 that holds online users responsible for seditious content that is posted on their platforms. Okay, last but not least, as mentioned previously, legal control over the internet falls under the purview of the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Communication Commission, MCMC, which is overseen by the Minister of Information, Communication and Culture. The 1998 Communication and Multimedia Act (CMA) gives the Information Minister certain authorities that include imposing license to operators of network and online services. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Anna, for your explanation you have given just now. Your explanation shows that most Malaysians used to surf the internet and media social instead of watching television and listening to radio. In addition, all issues are reported on social media that are negative, dangerous, and offensive will be censored, as many people will be affected when learning or seeing such thing on mass media or social media. Various regulations and enforcement have been put in place and strengthened to avoid sensitive issues and problems arising. So, without hesitation, I would like to move to our next panel, Ms. Dia Nazrin Zulaika. Ms. Dia, can you give some of your judgment on the effects of social media to civil society in Malaysia?
First of all, civil society can be understood as the third sector of society, distinct from government and business, and including the family and the private sphere. So, first and foremost, by changing the consumption pattern, some says that social media has enormously changed the way we consume content. With 1 out of 10 people considering social platforms as their main source of news. However, I don't believe that our world becomes narrower because of social media, as people still have mixed diets and we may be getting more echo chambers through social media, but we're also getting important news. So, next point that I want to highlight here is raw feedback through social media. Politicians understand that there's no filter in social media to stop feedback, and it is also mentioned that smart politicians will listen to people using the platforms. As nowadays, we are all free to give our opinions and our thoughts on social platforms. So everyone can share and give attention to what people are saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dia, for your outlook on the effects of social media to civil society in Malaysia that you gave just now. It explained that many people confidently social media is the platform where they get main course of news. This shows that a lot of people in Malaysia are relying on the media social and internet throughout their daily life. For the conclusion, I would like to say most Malaysians use social media and the internet in their daily life. They think that they get a lot of information, evidence, and knowledge through social media and various types of news and education from websites. Many enforcement will update it to ensure that everything that will uploaded on the website is beneficial and in accordance with the laws and regulation of the act that was set and enforced. Besides that, social media and the internet are a source for sharing opportunities and options and information. Such sharing activities can involve information sharing process involving social support groups during a natural disaster, sharing of health organization information. Social media is beneficial for leadership development. The prescribed law must be complied with and followed so that no legal action is taken against an individual. The suggestion that could make is models can be developed based on the networking entirety of social media capabilities. It depends in the researcher's creativities on public administration system, civil engagement, and citizen communication. Concern can be explained based on here as special and urge characteristic, especially socialization and involving different levels of individual status. Many system developers could enhance to have a better organization system and technological system that could improve the media in Malaysia. Thank you for all the audience for spending your time to listen our meeting about media, social, and internet legal analysis in Malaysia. Thank you.